We seem to be growing more dependent upon AI every day. And there's growing evidence that that dependency, like most dependencies, is not healthy for us. In fact, our over-reliance on AI may actually be making us dumber. So let's talk about it. And this isn't just some BS conspiracy theory around AI. Article after article, and even recent studies, are raising some serious red flags about the overuse of AI and its effect on our brain. And it seems to be centered around 4 specific areas. And obviously more studies need to be made. But the 4 areas are offloading. This is essentially using AI to do most of the heavy lifting, right? And the more you do this, the more you become unengaged from a cognitive perspective. Think of this as like someone trying to have a conversation with you while you're watching TV. If you're married, you know exactly what I mean. You're just not really paying attention, or you're half paying attention. And when you're trying to come up with a solution at work or a problem at all, you're trying to solve a problem somehow, the more you're engaged, the more new ideas pop into your head. But if you're relying on AI to do most of that work, you're offloading that work, then you're not going to be able to come up with new things on your own. You're dependent upon AI trying to solve the problem or come up with a new idea. And the next one is atrophy. The less you use your brain, the less powerful it becomes. And you start to lose some skills, long-term memory, analytical capabilities. So you got to use your brain. You got to stay engaged. And overuse of AI starts to diminish the use of the real thinking parts of your brain. The next one is overconfidence. Now, we already know people at work that are overconfident in their position. But AI can make you feel like you know more than you already do. It can make you feel like you're the smartest person in your group or the smartest person in the room. And you can start to believe that hype, that feedback loop, the people telling you, oh, wow, that was great. That's really interesting. But you didn't come up with it. AI did. So it can start to create this feeling that you're smarter than you already are. Therefore, you become overconfident. You don't want that. And the last one is critical thinking. I've already done a video on how important I think critical thinking is to work and to life in general. It's how we solve problems. It's how we navigate the world. But recent studies have shown that people who overuse AI tend to have lower scores around critical thinking. So if you look at this, you have offloading, atrophy, overconfidence, and critical thinking impact. I don't know about you, but all this sounds pretty scary to me. And I've been working in the industry for about 30 years. And I can tell you, I've met a lot of people that are 1 or 2 pancakes short of a full stack. So to think we're making people dumber, that can't lead to a good thing. Here's just one of those articles that I mentioned. I mean, we all suffer from imposter syndrome once in a while, but we're now heading towards full-on Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'll put the definition of that on the screen for those who don't know what it is. And then there's this recent study. I mean, overusage of AI is showing some real negative effects. Of course, more studies need to be had. I mean, this is a relatively new thing that's hitting us. But I think some of this is common sense. Like we've all heard the old adage, use it or lose it. And it seems pretty relevant here. If you don't exercise your brain over time, you're going to lose something, right? Something will get lost. And that's what I'm concerned about. And that's what other people seem to be raising red flags about. I'll put all the links in the description, of course. But the bottom line assertion here is that AI seems to be making us fundamentally dumber. Oh, but you say, Bob, wait a minute. AI is supposed to free us up from all this mundane minutia work and allow us to work on more rewarding, strategic work. And that sounds great, right? Well, AI has absolutely proven that it can do mundane, repetitive tasks faster than we can. And it has absolutely proven that it can displace workers in the thousands and take over call centers. But, and by the way, I would say that most of us would rather speak to a dumb person than an AI agent. But none of these things, none of them, whether it's going faster on mundane tasks or taking over call centers and having agentic AI everywhere, none of that is actually making us smarter. Okay, so the argument could be, hey, Bob, AI taking over mundane tasks was never supposed to make us smarter. It was just supposed to make us more efficient. And I can get on board with that if I set aside the fact that it's displacing a lot of workers. But let's look at the critical thinkers. the planners of the company? Surely they need to be getting smarter from AI, right? I mean, we hired them because of their expertise, their knowledge, their experience. They should be getting smarter from the use of AI because they're already pretty darn smart. Well, it turns out they really like AI too. It makes their life a lot easier as well. You need a new communication plan? Ask ChatGPT. You need a new program? Open up Claude. You need a board presentation? Ask ChatGPT. I mean, you see where I'm going here. Well, what is the result of all this wonderful AI usage? Are we getting smarter at all? Well, all the tasky work seems to be going to AI, and that's displacing real people and having a real effect on our society. And I don't think we talk about it enough. The people that remain, the critical thinkers, those people are starting to build a dependency on AI, which is probably slowly killing some brain cells. Again, not all of them, but the trajectory doesn't feel good. So again, how is AI making us smarter exactly? I mean, look, I realize that all new technological advancements come with benefits. They come with cost savings that are sometimes rarely ever seen by the consumer, but they also come with downsides and negative effects. And I think, in my opinion, AI is a particularly pernicious advancement. For one, it's advancing at a rate that makes it almost impossible to develop policies around. Before a policy's ink dries, it's already leapfrogged it. And so it makes it really hard to create some kind of governance around it. On top of that, we humans, we love shortcuts. Shortcuts to lose weight, shortcuts to get stronger, shortcuts to become more beautiful, stay young, get rich, whatever it is. And well, AI is like the ultimate shortcut to make your life at work easier. It's the make my job easier shortcut. And that is just far too enticing for us humans, especially as the job market shrinks down to a raisin and becomes even more hyper competitive than it already is. You know, AI is going to become like the crack of the workplace where employees just can't live or work without it. Now, I know one of the big arguments is, Bob, you're old school. You're an old guy. You know, the title of the channel is Lessons from a Bald Man, for Christ's sake. And, you know, this is just a natural evolution of technology in the workplace, technology in the world. And hey, man, Google was a cheat code for advancing and speeding up research, right? No one's complaining about how beneficial that was and how negative it was. Well, all that's true. We're not complaining about it, but I see a distinction between having the internet at my fingertips and having advanced search engines at my fingertips versus AI. You know, while Google was awesome and it provided the just Google it mentality, it merely provides information, right? You still have to wade through the 4 million search results to figure out what's relevant to whatever you're trying to do. You still had to put the work in. You had to do the time. You know, if you were writing a paper, you still had to write the paper. And there's real value in the doing of the work. And Google didn't allow you to take that shortcut. You still need to do the work. I mean, science has shown that there's real value, real learning that happens in the doing of something versus the reading or asking. I mean, you can read all the books you want on chess, but you will not become a grandmaster without playing some chess. That's a specific crown that only comes with playing. AI, on the other hand, it can be used like Google. You can ask it, hey, I need some supporting articles for something I am trying to create, the work I am trying to build. I could use it as a sounding board. Hey, I've written this. Tell me what you think about what I've written. It's kind of like giving a paper to a colleague and getting feedback. I'd still give it to a real person to read, but they are ways to use it like Google. In all those cases, you're trying to use AI to help support or provide feedback, provide supplemental information about something you created, right? You're not asking it to create the thing. And all these examples that I'm giving you, I think are real good reasons or real good ways to use this new technology. And there are also what I'll consider ethical ways to use it. That said, I think too many people are asking AI to do the work, right? To write the paper, to build the deck, to find the solution. And that's where I think the problem is. Sure, they're going to learn a little bit while they're doing it, right? There's always some trickle through to the brain. But something is absolutely lost when you have AI do the work for you. Right? Like real learning isn't taking place here. You can't become an expert in something without doing that thing, right? You need to put the time in. Sure, you'll understand the concepts, right? You'll get, if AI writes something for you, you can read it, get the concepts at a high level, but you need to do the thing to kind of understand the thing, right? If you let AI do everything for you, for us, we slowly and unconsciously lose our ability to think for ourselves. We're essentially handing the wheel over to AI. Here, you drive. We slowly lose our ability to think through problems, to develop a plan, to peek around corners, to see what might come, and something always comes. And what are the what ifs in life? If you're just relying on AI to constantly come up with that versus thinking for yourself, you can never learn from it. You're just relying and reacting from what AI tells you. You're not building any muscles to create something from nothing, to start from a blank sheet of paper and then build something unique. And that's important. And when it comes to problem solving, not just creating something new, there are many things that can go wrong in life and at work. And believe me, they will. But your experience of going through those things, it really teaches us how to navigate those problems and maybe avoid them in the future. If I rely on AI, if you rely on AI to figure out or solve problems, you're only, again, all you'll ever be able to do is react to a problem and run to your keyboard and type in what that problem is and ask for help. You'll never really develop the skills that are needed to solve the problem on your own, which is something we all need to learn how to do. My fear is that we're going to have a workplace where no one has ever solved a problem or created something on their own. And that might sound great to some, but that sounds horribly scary to me. Our brains need to exercise, and AI is telling us, relax, watch Netflix, keep playing Minecraft. You're already smart enough. So just chill. I got this. I mean, it's lulling us into a state of what we talked about earlier, brain atrophy. Slowly, of course, just slowly enough to where we don't realize it's happening. And then it becomes too late. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to our next conversation.